Hey, this is Tony Madsen for the Wild Cardinal Network here in the Wild Cardinal Studios of St. Michael High School. And I have with me our representative for the Hudl system. And for those of you without the know-in, our Hudl system is a group of cameras. I'll let the representative actually describe that. Introduce yourself and tell us a little about yourself.
My name is Fred Salzmann, and I am the Hudl rep for St. Michael's High School. So
a lot of people would call it our coaches' cameras.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. Hudl is developed as a coaching tool. So it's really meant to make recording film, breaking it down, sharing it with athletes easy. And that's exactly what it does. So you've got these cameras all around your campus. Your coaches turn them on and say, we're playing a game at this time. That film is automatically uploaded. And then once that coach goes in, they can send it to our analysts. We'll break it down and give them a full statistical report. So it really just gives that, from the game all the way to the review, we kind of handle that middle part so that coaches can focus on coaching.
There are also, the fans would be familiar with the the TV on the sideline, and as your different offense and defense switch out, they'll sit down in front of that TV and maybe get a little bit of learning in on what the opposing coaches are doing. That's referred to as Hudl Sideline.
Yeah, so we
Very
have
good tool.
A lot of add-on products like Hudl Sideline, where that's instant replay for the football team.
A lot of your cameras, they're manless, I guess, or automatic. A lot of AI involved in that, where they're watching are they watching the group of players, the ball, or how does that work, I guess?
It's a little bit of both. We've got this magic algorithm. That's what makes Hudl special. And yeah, it follows the action back and forth. There's times we've struggled with figuring out that algorithm where does it follow the ball, does it follow the people? But we've got a pretty good mix of that right now where it's going back and forth and giving you the broadcast that you're used to seeing.
Yeah, halftime of basketball still confuses the heck out of it, though, doesn't it?
It's a little confusing. It doesn't know what to look at. Is it the cheerleaders? Is it the concession stands? But it's during the game. Hopefully, there's no issues. It's working well for you.
It works very well. It really does for us. The other thing, let's ask about the origins of Hudl. I think it's rather interesting. Actually, started at the University of Nebraska.
Yeah, so it started with, it's actually 3 students in the Rakes College of Business. And what they did, it was their senior project, was to develop something for the football team. So one of our founders was actually the video coordinator on the football team, and he was real tired of handing out DVDs to coaches or to players every single day. And so their solution was, we need to make this automated. We need to put this on the internet so they can access it from anywhere. And that's exactly what they ended up doing. They put together some smoke and mirror screenshots and showed it to Coach Bill Callahan, who was the head coach at the time, and he loved it, loved being on the cutting edge. And so they actually paid us to figure out how to build this product. It was our first beta test, was the University of Nebraska. From there, it grew to the Jets, and now it's grown to every high school in America. We're in 99% of high schools right now. So
coaches share tapes or films. I'm antiquing myself, aren't I? I'm calling them tapes.
Well, yeah. You used to have to meet at like a sketchy Burger King in the middle of nowhere to get game film, and now it's all done online digitally. So.
Yeah, we love Burger King, by the way.
Hey, I love Burger King too. Yeah, just not the dangerous ones.
Yeah. You mentioned how Hudl has grown from the very start in Nebraska to now. Where do you see Hudl going from now in the next 10, 20 years?
Wow, that's a really good question, and you're putting me on the spot here. So definitely, we're already invested in the professional market a lot. We handle a lot of English Premier League soccer and things like that, and that's where I see most of our products are innovating and started there. So something I see in the future coming are these wearable devices for athletes, right? Right now, we can track you guys off the camera, and we can give you really great feedback based off of what you're doing on the field.
Okay.
But I also want to be able to see, are you trying hard? What sort of effort are you putting in? Are you wearing down? So I think you're going to start to see the full life cycle of an athlete, not just performance and judging it, but we also want to start seeing how you're reacting to the training, how you're getting better, so that the next time you play or you continue to grow. And that's where I see Hudl making an investment. But the coaching piece is still really big for us. We want to continue to make it easier for coaches to access film and share and get it out there. So you're going to see that's where I see it going.
Yeah, film is a huge part. I played football at freshman through sophomore year, and I mean, film is definitely a huge part. Now, Mr. Tony, you mentioned that most of the cameras are manless. So how many employees are nationwide does Hudl kind of employ if everything's kind of manless on the field?
So cameras are a part of our business. Another big part of like where our employees lie is they break down our game film. So it's actually a live person that watches these games and sends the breakdowns back to your coaches.
Okay.
So we've got a lot of employees there, sales and then lawyers, all that back end stuff. But total, we're about 2,200 people at Hudl. So we're not small by any means, but we're global too. A lot of those employees are in. We've got offices in Italy, Barcelona, London. So we're all over the place.
But the main headquarters is still in Nebraska.
Main headquarters is Lincoln, Nebraska. They are tied to that university. I know a lot of our investors are from there too. We partner closely with the Rake School of Business. I don't see us leaving Nebraska. It's the best university in the country. Sorry, I know I'm in Louisiana, Alabama, but University of Nebraska.
Let's talk about that switch to the Big Ten and how that worked out.
Hey, it's the process. It's been 20 years of the process.
I grew up in Iowa, so
I went to
Iowa State. They abandoned the Big Eight.
He was used to us beating him often.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Finn Larsh works in our broadcasting wax, and by the way, that was Franklin Cash. You have a question for our Hudl rep.
So for kids who are interested in playing college sports, how does Hudl really play into the recruiting? Because I know there are students at St. Michael who really want to go college and then go pro. How would Hudl help with that?
That is a great question to ask. So Hudl, all of that game film is uploaded into Hudl, right? So now, not only can kids use it to break down and learn their positions better, but recruiters also can use that film. So we have almost every school in the NCAA has a Hudl subscription. Every Division I, like 95% of Division II, all of Division III, use Hudl to recruit. And so what we do is you upload that film, and a recruiter can go in and say, hey, I'm looking for a quarterback in the state of Alabama that's like 6'2", 6'3", and it'll pull up every quarterback that fits that criteria. Something new that we're doing this year is we're going to start tagging individual stats. So now recruiters can look at, okay, I want to see the top rusher in the state of Alabama, and it'll pull up all of the stats that we have on those running backs, and you can click on their rushes and see every single play they had from the line of scrimmage. Or I can see I want to only see 5 to 10 yard gains. I click on that and it pulls those clips through. So Hudl really helps you get noticed on the back end using that search. We also provide profiles for each athlete where you can upload your stats. If you have a timed 40, you can upload that to Hudl. Your transcript, if you're trying to go to an Ivy League school, you can upload your transcript and they can see that sort of stuff too. So we give a lot of power back to the athletes to use that profile, use the full game footage to your advantage. So you can also create highlights and just save them for when you're done. I still go back and look at my Hudl reel from when I was in high school. So yeah, there's lots of applications.
That sounds really helpful if you're a high school level person just trying to get noticed. Put your stats up on Hudl, and colleges can go ahead and look at it.
Exactly. Yeah, we make it really easy.
That would be awesome. Now, one of the things that, as far as stats, a lot of people look at max preps, but that is notoriously not always correct, to put it that way. So with Hudl, you would actually get somebody who's actually putting in, I guess, correct stats, as opposed to somebody's mother saying he just made 17 tackles this game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What I see a lot of coaches complaining about is the self-reporting on
Yes.
sites like that, where how accurate can it be? But Hudl, that's a third person, right? It's our analysts don't care if you're from St. Michael's or you're from Gulf Shores. Sorry, they don't care. So it's an unbiased perspective, and I envision long term that maybe state associations or conferences will start to rely on that as kind of the source of truth.
Yeah.
The Hudl stats.
I think we played a game last year where we had a opposing linebacker that had 170 tackles or something like that, according to Max Preps.
Yeah, there you go.
He was averaging 35 a game or something like that, which is near impossible.
Got his scholarship in one night.
Yeah. So I think that would be helpful.
Yeah.
Another question there, Finn.
I really don't have much else other than, again, the foundations of Hudl was pretty amazing. How did you guys spread out globally? Like, what are you really doing when American football is not so popular in European nations?
Soccer.
Okay, yeah. So definitely, I think it was a strategy to invest in global soccer or global football.
Yeah.
That's like you said. Everybody else is into this game, and if Hudl wants to be relevant globally that we have to be doing something for them. So, like I said, a lot of our innovations are coming from that. That wearable device I mentioned earlier was from the FC Barcelona Innovation Lab. So we bought that technology from them and have since developed it further ourselves. Our cameras actually came from a company in the Nordics, Sweden, Finland, somewhere up there, Incatech. We took some of their technology, looked at their lenses, and were able to adapt it for our focus cameras. So yeah, we have a large presence internationally because, like you said, that's the rest of the world. The U.S. has one market, but we want to be a global company. So
that's fascinating with soccer, and I think the wearables. That is the future. When you look at American-style football, you're talking about so many sensors in the helmet now anymore. Of course, at the next level up and at the 2 levels above us here, and that will trickle down eventually. And so the wearables will eventually come to the high school level as well. And all of that stuff does nothing but make a coach's job easier. Decisions on what's happening with the student's head, decisions on what's happening with the student's stamina, that kind of thing. All those decisions can be seen very clearly if they're, there was a gentleman when I was of age. He passed away from lack of water, dehydrated. From it gets hot and things like that. You'd be able to tell those things.
Exactly. Yeah, from the safety perspective as well, and then also the developmental side too. Being able to see, how many miles are on a kid. Are you wearing him down too fast? Is his performance the next game not where it should be because he's tired? So yeah, lots of applications there for sure.
Yeah.
What are the factors you're looking for when hiring new employees to a prestigious job opportunity like this?
Yeah, so we definitely it's hard to quantify hustle, but I think that is something, if you can get that across in your interview in any job,
effort,
that's going to make you stand out and shine. As far as getting specifically into Hudl, athletic background is huge. So if you have a passion for sports and it's something you enjoy doing, whether maybe it's your skills are computers or your skill is broadcasting or it's the coaching side, Hudl can find a spot for you. So I would say for any kid that is passionate about sports and wants to try to turn that into a career, Hudl's a great place to start because we touch all of those different parts of the business, and you find what works best for you. But if you're asking is there a specific skill set or something, I don't think there's something specific that's going to get you into Hudl.
Right.
But there's a spot for everyone, and just be interested in sports. If you don't like sports, Hudl's probably not a great spot for you to be, honestly.
Yeah, and then do y'all have any job internment opportunities?
They're going to be graduating in 5
high
years.
School or
yes.
high school or college.
Absolutely. Take a look at our website. We hire interns all the time. I know in the summer they will hire, I don't know if they do this anymore. I've been at Hudl for 5 years, but 5 years ago I onboarded with someone who was an intern that was actually staying in Lincoln, and they were paying for his housing and that sort of stuff. So definitely that might have changed. Don't quote me on this, but internships have kind of been the backbone of Hudl. We really value that young energy, and we want to make sure you guys are taken care of too. Now, if you go to the University of Nebraska, it's a little bit easier to get into these opportunities, so you might have to migrate north.
Right.
But yes, definitely take a look at our website. We love college-age kids and giving them that first opportunity to work in this industry. So.
And y'all do primarily high school sports in the States, correct? Or y'all do college as well?
So we do a lot of college.
Okay.
We do, the whole NBA uses Hudl.
Really?
It's different levels of technology. So the NBA uses Sports Code, which is our kind of, you're tagging it. You need a team of analysts to run this thing. And they've got the wearable devices, that's kind of what happens at that level. We work with the MLS. We work with Major League Lacrosse. Some NFL teams. The Jets were our second client. So we do work a lot on the professional level, and college the same thing. Every college has a Hudl subscription for the recruiting side of things. They do use different technology for kind of video and managing that themselves. But yeah, every university touches us. But as far as a full solution, high school is kind of where that's worked out the best for us because we're able to take the tools that the professional level is using and we kind of pare them down so that they can be used at this level and managed. So it's not, some of our NBA teams are paying 6 figures for their annual Hudl bill. Maybe Jerry could get to that budget. I don't know, but we try to make it approachable for the high school to give you the same sort of analysis they're getting at that next level.
Yeah.
And I think if we're talking future, that's just going to happen more and more, where you're going to start seeing better technology come down to the high school. I can tell you, at college, they're doing live stats right now. They're putting instant graphics on the broadcast. It's pretty incredible some of the stuff that's happening.
And you said you've been working here during Hudl for about 5 years. What's been your favorite part about working with this company?
Sports. I love sports. Football, like Nebraska football is where I grew up. That was my passion as a kid. I played basketball, football, baseball growing up. And so that's really what drew me to Hudl. I actually started my career. I worked in the hotel industry. I was ran a call center sort of thing. You managed about 200 people, but it was sales based. And so COVID hit, and they're like, "Yeah, we're not going to continue with this remote thing anymore."
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Okay, what do I love?" And my skills transferred over to Hudl. I got in the sales role, and I said sports was kind of what got me. I was like, "Yeah, let's just find a job in sports." And then Hudl seemed to be the right spot, and I love it. It's the best company I've ever worked for.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing something I get to love. I love talking to coaches.
Yeah.
Love doing this kind of stuff.
Have you met any notable players or coaches?
Yeah, so 2 weeks ago I was in Texas. I met with Jason Witten. He's the head coach at Liberty Christian. I was hoping to meet Phillip Rivers here today, but it sounds like he's on campus. So, there's always those coaches that kind of cross over. I know we worked with Deion Sanders when he was at his, I think Prime Academy was his school down in Dallas.
Texas.
Yeah. So if you're a high school coach using your high school football coach, you're probably using Hudl. So
Right.
That's true.
Right.
We get a lot of that crossover.
Does Friday nights ever get like crazy in Nebraska? Because I mean, there's gonna be so many games going on. If one goes wrong, you gotta focus there, and then another goes wrong. I mean, there's gotta be some type of.
I can tell you there's somebody working there on Friday night.
Right.
There is.
Right.
They answer the phone.
So Friday nights is actually a special team. They call it our Friday Night Lights team, and they are the best sideline people. Wow. They're the best broadcast people, and it kind of sucks if you're good at your job because now you have to work Friday nights.
Right.
But yes, we try to put our best people in that time because that is when we're going to get the most calls. Our bread and butter has always been American football, and that was our first client. So we want to make sure they're supported. And yeah, Friday nights, stuff happens. Stuff happens,
sure.
so we make sure we're there for you guys.
And how long has Hudl been around? Been in use?
So the first beta test was 2004 was when they were working with the University of Nebraska. I think as a company we just hit, it was 20 years, the 5th of May. So yeah, we just hit our 20 year. So what was that? 2025? 2005 is when we officially kicked off.
Okay.
2005, 2004.
And I know you've only been here for 5 years, but what do you think's been the hardest part of trying to grow this company to become as large as it has this in today's world?
So my experience is when I came in, hardware was something we really didn't do. And when I say hardware, I mean like the focus cameras and these physical pieces that are part of your subscription. So we've learned a lot of lessons on that, where it's like making sure we're ordering the right amount of cameras, make sure we're forecasting that we're going to have all these parts, and then COVID hits, and all of a sudden we can't get the same parts that we need to. These tariffs are now starting to affect us as getting accessibility to some of these components. So I think that has been, at least on the high school side from what I've seen, is learning how to do hardware and how to do it right. And I can tell you from where we were when we started, where it was, I was telling coaches, I'm sorry, you're just going to miss your season. We can't get a camera out to you. To now, we're pretty good about forecasting and getting things on when we need to. So.
Yeah, my last question is, do you know the story or the backline of the logo from Hudl?
Wow,
it's a very unique logo.
Yeah.
Well, it's three guys in a huddle.
I mean, honestly, I think that's what it is.
Three guys. Did you say three guys started?
Actually, yeah. I mean, that's actually, Okay. There
We figured it out.
Jerry and Tony got it, yeah.
If that's not the real story, that's what they should start saying.
Exactly.
I'm sure we'll hear from Hudl on that soon.
Yeah.
Let's cut this one out. No one's ever asked me that.
That's great.
But yeah, that's a good question. I'll find that out.
Hey, I got a quick question for you real quick.
Yeah.
with the advent of the high school player and all the advantages they have now when getting on Huddle and they can clip out their plays and all that, are y'all making it? Are you trying to integrate it where they can utilize those things for their Instagram, Snapchat, all that kind of stuff? Because, all the guys are building their own pages now.
That's
for NIL
a
deals.
pretty good question from a standpoint of, as I'm a player, I see a highlight of myself. What are my copyright? Not my copyright, but is that my film then? I mean, can I download that from Huddle and say, I just want to send that to a college recruiter? How does all that work?
Okay, so legally, I'm not sure. This is not legally binding.
Yes,
This is but yes, we do give you the ability to buy highlights, and you can kind of do what you want with that. But as far as sharing it on like social media, your profile is your Huddle hub, and you own that. So when athletes want to share their game film, you just take that link to your profile, and that's what you can send out to coaches. And from there, they'll be able to see your full game film. They'll be able to see the highlights that you created and things like that. You can also tweet. Like we have a connection to Facebook and Twitter where you can just automatically send out your highlights. And so that's the thing playing in your tweet. X, I don't know what they call it anymore. But yeah, yes, that's the way I would integrate it. But
We had a player 2 years ago who was very good at getting clips off a Huddle and putting things together. Tyler Sella did a fantastic job of that, and he did a lot of recruiting, and I saw what he did, and that was sending links of Huddle tapes and things like that to coaches around the country. He did a very good job of that.
Yeah, I know. I had that was my last question. I got one more. What sports do y'all cover in the U.S. currently, and do you expect Huddle to broadcast out to more? Like I know we talk about swimming and track. I know you probably don't cover those. Do you see Huddle as a company extending their platform to other sports?
yeah, so even swimming and track can use Huddle, right? And what we're doing, if you're recording any sort of film for your sport, you should upload that to Huddle and share it. Swimming and track are one of those sports where recruiters are probably looking for times more than they are actual game film. But to be able to see your technique in the pool, to how you're jumping over the high jump, like that is crucial stuff too. So they can get a feel for it. So if your coaches are recording you, I would push them to upload it to Huddle. Every single team at St. Michael's can have a Huddle account that they can upload. It's not going to cost anything extra. It's part of what's included.
Flag football?
Flag football absolutely should have an account, and we can get that game film uploaded for them, and so they can start sharing it or creating highlights. Or even if you just want to see how your backflip was on this thing, we can do that for you, and you can check on it 10 years later if you want.
What's the most unique sport that is like covered by Huddle? Do you think? I know you said like any sport, but like primarily.
So the most interesting film I've come across in Huddle
that coaches like use. You know what I mean?
Well, so I don't know how useful it is because I'm not the coach, but I've seen cross country skiing.
Really?
Like film uploaded into Huddle, and they were like, as I'm watching this film, they put notes on it about the routes and like the paths and stuff. So it looked like it was a coach kind of going through the route ahead of time. So that was probably the weirdest thing I've seen. Water polo is something that I grew up in the Midwest, so water polo did not exist where I lived, and seeing water polo and stuff was interesting too.
Well. That's all I got.
All right. That's all we got.
I've done enough damage.
Oh, thank you.
No, we want to thank our Fred and our Huddle support here that we've had over the last few years. I know that we very much enjoy it. The coaches very much enjoy the film, and the way it's expanding and the support that we get. I'm very proud of the fact that we use Huddle.
Good. I love to hear that. And if there's any other coaches that are hearing this, I want to extend to them too. Like, I'll give some business cards to Jerry. Reach out to him. I will help. I'll meet with you one-on-one. We'll go through your account. We'll show you how to do this. I'll do the same thing for your athletes and your assistant coaches. My job is to make sure you know how to use Huddle, and we'll do anything that you guys need.
Yeah.
So really, I'll train you up, recruiting, anything you need, we're here to help. So.
Here at the WCN studios, we even use our broadcasting packages, the production truck to live stream our videos over to YouTube and things such as that. So that's the software that we use. It's part of Hudl. So we're fully engraved with Hudl, and that's what we use.
That's
sure.
why we love working with you guys. So whatever you need, you tell us. We'll get it there.
Well, we talked about that earlier. So we've got a list of demands that we've already given him.
Yeah, fair. I'm actually being held hostage here until we get a new sideline kit.
He says yes. No.
And some Alpha Channel. No. But no, we really much enjoyed, and we would not be able to be where we are today without what Hudl does for us. So a very good partnership between St. Michael and Hudl. Thank you very
love
much
that.
for joining us.
No, thank you for having
luck.
me.
Thank you.
That's great.
Appreciate it. Again,
Thanks.
signing off for the Wild Cardinal Network, Franklin Cash, Finn Larsh, Tony Madsen, and
Fred Salzmann.
thank you, sir. Have a good evening.
No Jerry Marlowe.
Oh, Jerry Marlowe on the production.